Okay. So Proverbs 27:9. Ointment and perfume rejoice the heart. So so do the sweetness of a man's friend by hearty counsel. When you call a good friend, man, he give you good advice, good counsel on something, man, that's something to rejoice. It's like an ointment. It's healing to you. Okay? It said, thine own friend and thy father's friend forsake not. Neither go into thy brother's house in the day of thy calamity. For better is a neighbor that is near than a brother far off. And your brother is your neighbor. Okay? Your brother is your neighbor. I mean, your neighbor is your brother. Okay? Then there's somebody that cares about you that's right there close, though. Anyway. Yeah, that's good enough for that. Now let's move on to another script. Let's see where we're at. Sirach, I believe we were in. Sirach, the 22nd chapter. Yep. It says, I'm going to start back at 20. It says, who calleth the stone, Sirach 22:20, who calleth the stone at the birds frayeth them away? Whoso casteth a stone at the birds frayeth them away. You disturb them and brush them off. There's a lot of people that get caught up trying to push people away. You just want to push people away because that's what makes you comfortable. Okay? Because you don't want the responsibility of caring for those people, of doing the things necessary to keep those people in your life. All right? Let me see what we got here. Anyway, so it says, and he that upbraideth his friend breaketh friendship. You uprooting it. You're disconnecting that friendship away. You're breaking up the friendship. Okay, but you got to consider your ways. On what you're doing, and really the possibilities of what this man is doing. Is he really doing his best to try to be your friend, or is he just don't give a shit and doing what he want to do? A lot of niggas out there, they just do what they do, and where the pieces fall, and the collateral damage is that. But a brother, he's gonna consider who's all in the realm of what's going on. Okay, if I do this, will this look bad upon this man, or look bad, even worse, upon the church? Upon the other brothers that believe? Will the young brother be caught up in a stumbling block because of what he saw me do? You got to think about that. And if you don't understand it from a young brother perspective, but you have kids, that's the same thing. Am I doing something that my kids is going to look at and interpret a certain ways, and then when it comes a certain day, they're going to do it, but not understanding the full nature of what I was doing and make a mistake? You got to consider those things. Okay? That's just wisdom. All right? It says, though thou drawest a sword at thy friend, yet despair not, for there may be a returning to favor. Okay? Even though y'all have harsh words for one another, at the end, the bigger picture prevails that you can come back and talk about it and still be friends again and see eye to eye again. One thing, I have a situation with my best friend that we, every so often we got to clash heads. And for me, I understand that it's based in his unbelief in his truth. And that's basically, for me, what it is. I don't know what it is for him exactly, but for me, at the end of the day, it's like, hey, man, I care about you. You get this knowledge, but it ain't about that. It's about the Most High chosen. The Most High may not have chosen. Maybe there's something wrong in his spirit. Okay? You gotta figure that out for yourself. Let every man be persuaded in his own mind. Okay, and they should be willing in the day of thy power. Okay? Anyway, it says, if thou hast opened thy mouth against thy friend, fear not, for there may be a reconciliation, except for upbraiding or pride or disclosing of secrets, or a treacherous wound. For these things every friend will depart. If you go to those deeper levels, man, and breaking friendship to where you didn't told secrets, you didn't snitched on him or whatever, You done upbraided, you done done something like, man, I slept with your woman. I wouldn't be your friend. You ain't my friend if you sleep with my woman, and things of that nature. It says secrets, pride. If I'm too prideful to say, you know what, let me humble down. This dude was cool in this circumstance, in this realm. It's worth keeping that together, or treacherous wounds. And that, like I said, adultery is one of those treacherous wounds, okay? It says, be faithful to thy neighbor in his poverty, that thou mayest rejoice in his prosperity. Abide steadfast unto him in time of his trouble, that thou mayest be heir with him in his heritage. A lot of times people get mad because Jake has a problem with going and giving back, not realizing people gave to you to get to where you at. You got to give to where you need for those to get to where you've been. Okay? Whether that's in wisdom, whether that's in monetary value, it should be a street code of that, but it's not. Niggas only care about themselves. Niggas don't go back to the hood, because when they go back, niggas is trying to rob them. Why? Because you ain't giving enough. If you go back and you look at all these famous people that give back to the hood on a high level, they don't have a problem giving back. They don't have a problem with niggas coming and trying to take them out. There's always going to be a few in a bunch, but the ones that you're taking care of will help protect you. Now, I don't know this about this man in particular, but I hear Kendrick Lamar can go back to the hood. I hear the game can go back to the hood. That's what I don't know, and I don't care about that street science and street words, and I don't care about that. But certain men, you hear about them able to go back to Compton, go back to different cities where they're from, Eminem in Detroit or whatever else, because they do things for that city, and the city appreciates what they do. And a lot of times, you may have to put your name out there, but you don't want to have to for people to appreciate what you're doing. You just want to do for the sake of what needs to be done. But our people got them flaws where they want to be appreciated for what they do. They want people to know, so I can have that extra ego and pride about myself, rather than doing it secretly. Now, if you can start practicing that on a level of just around the people around you, keeping it quiet and doing it, that starts the cycle there. Okay? If I can just, I know it's not my night to do the kitchen, I'm gonna do it for my brother. I'm gonna knock that out. I saw he made a mistake or something, he did something, I'm gonna clean up his mess for him because he's sick, or because he didn't get a chance to do it. I'm gonna just do it because it's what needs to be done. And even whether he does repay me or not and do something for me, that's not the point. But to keep that energy flowing one to another. Okay, that's what we do inside this brotherhood. All right. It says, let me see. Yeah, I'm reading it. Abide steadfast unto him in the time of his trouble, that thou mayest be heir, receive also inheritance from him, right? Heir with him in his heritage. For a mean estate is not always to be condemned or contempt. It said, nor the rich that is foolish to be had in admiration. Just because you got something, that don't mean that person is worthy to admire. Just because somebody's on the low means that they're to be ashamed. Okay? It says, as the vapor and smoke of a furnace go before the fire, so reviling before blood. If you do the things that bring in reviling and anger toward one another, yeah, there's blood to follow, man. But what type of person are you? This paints the picture of what most street niggas is about. You look in this black conscious community, the House of Consciousness and all of those Egyptologists, them was just niggas, man. Niggas that read a couple books. And they probably were sparked by niggas in jail. That's what you notice about them. They still niggas acting like niggas. Yeah, and there's Israelites out there, Israelite groups and camps that's out there that's still some niggas, man. Okay, that still got that full nigga mentality. That ain't trying to correct it. That just don't know how to think outside of that. And a lot of them are sparked off from some of the elders that fell off. Okay? Back at the old school, and then the other ones that Israelites that was from back in the day that wasn't rooted in Yahweh Shem Shai, okay? or didn't have a foundation of Yahweh Shem Yahshua. Anyway, it says 25, I will not be ashamed to defend a friend, neither will I hide myself from him. Okay? Sometimes helping this friend is by not helping him. Okay? Sometimes that's the case. All right? You got to know when to offer words, when to just listen, when to offer sharp rebuke, when to drop wisdom. You know? You got to be able to pay attention to people in that regard. But it should be something that you're practicing within yourself and with your household anyway. Whether it be your kids, your woman, you know, your amongst your brothers, your parents, or whoever. But just within yourself, practicing that. Is this time that I need to hear something? When I need to hear something, I'm gonna go to this person. When I need to I don't want to hear that. I just need to think inside myself. I'm not gonna deal with nobody. I'm not gonna put myself in a position to hear an abundance of words that I don't want to hear yet. You know, and sometimes that can work against you. Sometimes you need to hear some things, and that's your ego and pride inside you. Okay, but when the hammer comes down in harshness to correct you, guess what? Appreciate it. What did King David do? When Nathan the prophet corrected him, you know, and told him what was up, his first hand, I think it was Abner, was like, "Hey, you want me to get him?" He was like, "Nah." He's telling you something right, because him and the prophet knew what they was talking about Bathsheba in that situation, but he knew what the situation was. He had to take that rebuke. Nah, I need that. He's, you know, I mean, I know I'm the king and all that, but you just don't know how on point he is about calling me out about something else that you don't know about. Okay, so you got to take things spiritually as well as the Most High or that man correcting you. Okay, and generally this video was spoken from a worldly perspective for somebody in the world, but it's the change of this mentality from that world mentality of being a nigga into that brotherly grown man mentality, okay, which will wean you from the milk and draw you from the breast to where you can receive instruction and wisdom, okay, to be a believer. All right. Yeah. That's good on that. What else I got? I got something else in here. Did I read that already? The 21st verse. 21 and 20. Yeah, I always like this one. When you go back and you talk about, I mentioned adultery when I was talking about a treacherous wound, right? That's something like adultery. Now, this is what a real man will do versus what niggas do. First off, as a man, you shouldn't be putting your woman or your daughter in position to be around other men, okay? Unless that's for a purpose, you know. Meaning like that your daughter one day gonna marry, but your woman, you want to try to keep that situation to a minimum, okay? Especially without you involved. Well, here, and the scriptures warn you about that. Don't drink with another man's wife and all of those things, you know, unless your heart be inclined into her. That's going to lead to adultery. You don't want to do that. But here's another something right here. Sirach 21 and 22. It says, a foolish man's foot is soon in his neighbor's house, but a man of experience is ashamed of him. Meaning, sometimes when you got to hold your peace when correcting somebody, okay? Sometimes you just got to hold your peace and wait, okay? Sometimes you got to understand that sometimes the best thing to do is to say nothing. And then when that occasion is open unto you to speak, then you drop what you know about that situation, okay? Putting yourself into it, like if a brother is tripping, you know, or something like that, sometimes not telling him just yet is what he needs to fully go through everything that's happening, you know. Or you can make mention, and if he don't want to hear it, let it play out a little bit, you know. If an occasion of a spiritual situation happens and you see it how it connects to him and he don't see it, hey, let it play out. That might be the Most High wanting that to play out, okay? But you trying to be the one that, I'm the one that helped you. I'm the one that corrected you. I'm the one that loaned you money. It ain't about that, man. It's about making sure the situation gets appeased for what it needs to be, doing the right thing for the right moment, okay? for the right of the situation. Okay, in its proper time. Better say than the right moment, but in its proper time. Okay. Anyway, it says a foolish man's foot is soon in his neighbor's house, but a man of experience is ashamed of him. A fool will peep in at the door into the house, but he that is well nurtured will stand without. Hey, that's none of my business, man. Whatever's going on in there is none of my business. I don't need to put myself into your business or into your life. You know, I'm too busy making sure my stuff is in order over here. Okay, but I am watching to see when your stuff spills over. Not into my life, but just spills over. Hey, brother, hey, you start to spill. You're spilling a little bit. Watch yourself. Oh, you know, brother, do what he got to do, Lord willing, right? It says, in the rudeness of a man, it is the rudeness of a man to hearken at the door, but a wise man will be grieved with the disgrace. If you and your woman in there arguing, and the brother happens to be there, and I didn't been through this before. A brother didn't, like, yeah, I'm going outside, and you know what I'm saying, I'm sitting in the car, because I kind of heard y'all getting into it. I'm just going to sit in the car. You know what I'm saying? Instead of coming over, y'all saw you and your woman kind of getting into it. Is it cool that we just go out and go somewhere else? We can go back to my house or whatever. Sometimes that's just the best way to do things. You know? Anyway, it says, the lips of talkers, and this is talking about all that gossip and backbiting, really. The lips of talkers will be telling such things as pertain not unto them, but the words of such as have understanding are weighed in the balance, knowing when to say something and when not to. Okay? The heart of fools, the mind is your heart. It's the Hebrew word lab, which means your mind, which is for heart. Okay? So the heart of fools is in their mouth, but the mouth of the wise is in their heart. You know? With the mouth of the wise is in their mind. They're not just going to say things without thinking them through first, without understanding what their impact and vibration may bring to the situation. It may make it worse. But if it makes it better, then you offer those words in due season. Okay, when the time is right. It also says here, it says, when the ungodly curse Satan, he curseth his own soul. Okay, whatever. That's not change something different. Yeah. What else did I want out of there? Oh, yeah. Proverbs. Go to the book of Proverbs 18. I'm sure you brothers know this. But for you that don't, hey, man, this is in here. This stuff is written in here for you. Okay? All the information that you need to earn your salvation is in here. To be a better man is all in here. Okay? That's what this is for. Proverbs 18 and 19. A brother offended. Now, when you go to offenses or offended, it means the Greek word for offense or offend is scandalizo, okay, which means to put a stumbling block, meaning they can't get past something. They can't get. I can't get over what you said, man. You know, no matter how good you've been after that, what you said back then, I can't get past that. Well, I must have put a stumbling block before you. Let me clear that up to keep your path straight and smooth. Okay, so we have understanding of one another. And sometimes it takes just to go to a brother, pull him to the side one-on-one and talk to him. Now, applying it to niggas in the street, niggas don't know how to do this. You ask a nigga to pull you to the side and talk, one of the niggas gonna get mad because everybody's looking at why you pull them to the side. And what y'all talk about? None of your goddamn business. That's what I just read that. And a man will be foot will be at a neighbor's door, listening at the door. Okay? That's none of your business. If it was your business, they would have said it before everybody. Okay? Not everything is meant to be said out loud. That's why when I read Proverbs in the last video, why niggas can't get along, that wisdom and discretion that niggas don't have. As brothers and as men of the Lord, we have to have that. Okay? We got to know when a brother tell you a secret, you keep that secret. You know, when a brother certain things that don't need to come out about a brother, you learn something about a brother, that don't mean that you got to go out and tell it the first time you get mad at this brother. That's some emotional woman type thing, man. You know? You don't jump ship on a brother just because he corrected you. Oh, I knew you was going to. Nah, man, how you know this man still ain't bringing good to you? Okay? Anyway, it said a brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city. Once he's offended, you can't get him back on your team, man. It's hard to do it. You got to figure out how to clear that offense out. Okay? Sometimes it's in you because you were unmindful of the way that man can receive it. But hey, man the hell up. Don't be a damn pansy with things, okay? Or worried about the way somebody talk to you. That's what's wrong with niggas nowadays. Niggas don't like the way that they're talked to. Well, if you're acting like a woman, I'm going to talk to you like a woman. Because you seem to understand the thinking of a woman better than the thinking of a man. A man is like, hey, watch the fuck out, man, move. Excuse me, move. Why are you saying it like? Can't be like that. This brotherhood has nothing to do with that type of thing. Okay, Salaki, brother, watch out. Or hold on. To stop a brother corrected, I've been in both positions, man. Both for me are uncomfortable, but necessary. Taking the rebuke or delivering rebuke. Either way, man, it's never a comfortable thing with me, but it is a necessary process that has to be done. And I accept either way, and I for surely welcome the rebuke on me when I need it. Anyway, it says a brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city, and their contentions are like the bars of a castle. How you gonna break through that? You can't break through that. Okay? Hard to break through that. I got another one real quick. Is it Job? Or is it the end of Proverbs? Nope. It's Proverbs 29. He that being often reproved hardened his neck, and shall suddenly be destroyed in that without remedy. If somebody keeps rebuking you and keep trying to correct you all the time, and you're gonna harden your neck to it. But if you took heed in the beginning, you're gonna attain the wise counsels. You have no problem correcting yourself. Okay, but this is a process. But does any man go out there looking to just I want to correct everybody? I just want to cut people. I've had some people. I ain't gonna bring them up, even though it's in season to talk about this person. And say I just like cutting. Talking about he just want to cut people with the scriptures. It ain't all about cutting and chopping nobody down, man. It's also about you cut them to break them down, but then you edify them after that, okay? Meaning you build them up with understanding from that position, okay? That's what this thing is about. The tear down is just a part of the necessary process, but the build up is most important in it, and that's why I'm doing this video, okay? So not only do you niggas not only for you niggas or men that grew up from a nigga mentality, you understand the difference between what a nigga doesn't know and what a nigga doesn't do, and how a nigga thinks to becoming a man and how a man should think, let alone a believing man. Okay? A believing man is the ultimate goal of this thing that we understand, because it tells you in Ecclesiastes, the 13th chapter, I think it's the 12th verse. Let me get it. I'll just get it because it's just easier to get it. It says, wait 1 second. It says, let Ecclesiastes 12:13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. See the big picture. Okay, let us see the big picture. Fear the Most High God and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Okay, to be a man, you got to do those things. You got to see the whole picture. You got to fear the Most High, because you don't know what level role you may play in this situation, and keep His commandments. That'll keep you away from evil. Okay, that's the whole duty of man right there. All right. So Lord willing, this was edified, man. Edifying. It ran longer, of course. It's never really short, I guess, but these situations are what they are, man. So with that, giving all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahshai, Ba'ashim Arakakwadash. Double honor to the elder apostles at Great Millstone who rule well. The wider apostle Rob Lob and brothers on the comment board on his live show earlier. Like I said, the spirit was already on me to do this, but it was a beautiful thing to hear it, and I had to kind of land back off of it and angle it in another way pertaining to the question that I was given. So Lord willing, brother was edified with that. Like I said, once again, call halal Yahweh Bashim Shai, Bashim Amakakudash. Double honor to the elder apostles at Great Millstone who ruled well and taught me this truth. And greetings, salutations, and blessings unto the hopeful elect, those that's trying to give their lives in all diligence to escape all the tragedies that's coming, all the perils that's coming. All right? Shalom.